What was inappropriate during your childhood and now seen as appropriate in this generation? Allowing a slip strap or hem to show. A slip was an undergarment that ensured modesty by not allowing see-through or static cling moments with one's dress or blouse and skirt. They came as full shoulder to knee or half waist to knee. It was sloppy for one to ever show even a bit. It also helped hide the garter belt and stockings. There was a lot going on under that cute fit, which is why pantyhose and double-neck knit polyester fabrics were an immediate hit in women's fashion. My daughter and her friend, both high schoolers at the time, to some activity, and they were discussing specifics about their family life class for fellow non-Americans. It's a euphemism for sex ed. For open-minded and chill parents who taught me about the birds and the bees, that I would never have casually discussed that shit with a friend, while my father was sitting in front of me in the car. Children not shutting up while in the company of adults was inappropriate. It used to be seen, not heard. Now kids who don't know anything about anything are given equal say in everything. If a kid got in trouble in school in the 80s, parents trusted teachers to take care of the problem and asked how they could help. Now parents assume their kid was falsely accused and will try to get that teacher fired. In America, we had a brief window of time when coming out was not only acceptable but encouraged. Because of that short period, we now have a vocabulary to discuss sexuality and gender that's broader and more inclusive than just gay or lesbian. Now we have an angry and vocal minority vilifying shoving non-straight, non-cis people back into the closet, hoping we'll rot until we die and go to hell. Dropping a loved one off at the curb at the airport before a big trip, or waiting on the curb to pick them up. You parked and walked them to the gate. You didn't chuck them out and jet. I mean, if your spouse traveled for work, you might just drop them off. But if it was a big trip or a new relationship, you went inside with them and met them at the gate when they disembarked. Unlimited internet usage. Like I'm not that old, but I recall friends going through that phase, sneaking in South Park episodes or watching the occasional raunchy YouTube video. Like I'm not saying every kid needs child locks, but if your kid isn't a little scared mom might find out, they're probably browsing way too much crazy shit. There's a whole genre of people in my country who think it's fine to plaster the words "fuck Trudeau" all over their vehicles, clothes and personalities. I don't have too much love for most of our politicians either, but I don't think it should be socially appropriate to plaster the F-bomb or even openly insult politicians wherever you go. Driving a kid everywhere to school and picking them up from school was seen as weird, especially if the kids lived close to the school. Some kids even walked 6-8 blocks to school, even the grade 1 kids. Some kids ride their bikes. These days kids are driven everywhere, and we wonder why we have an obesity epidemic. Meeting people from the internet. I was a late teen when the internet exploded, and so I was told to always be cautious with online stuff. I'm writing thing in the back of Uber, and I am riding with a stranger. Also, approaching people to talk was considered okay, unlike now where no one can talk to each in real life. Being unavailable at all times. I don't want to answer my phone while making supper, or at the grocery store just because I have one, or when operating a vehicle. While it's wonderful that my boss checks his emails while driving his Tesla for 20 minutes to work, I would like not to. I must take a rest. Having your phone out 24/7 is supposed to keep them in our lockers. At work, you were expected to leave your phone in your desk or your bag. If you checked it constantly, you were being rude and blowing off your responsibilities. Smoking weed. Went to my parents' house the other day, and my little brother rolled up at the dinner table with a bag of weed he got out of the kitchen cabinet. My jaw dropped thinking back on the years I spent creating secret stashes in my room and sneaking out. Getting into a car with a stranger. I was told for my entire childhood to never get into a stranger's vehicle, unless it was a marked taxi and the driver's credentials were displayed. Now I have an app on my phone that summons strangers so I can ride in their cars. As an Aussie, the word cunt. I'm not ancient 44, and I remember having my mouth washed out with soap in primary school for saying bum. Probably would have been expelled if I'd used the other word. Still have issues saying it because of my generation. Posting videos of yourself in your underwear And no, I'm not talking about porn. I was floored the first time I saw a Get Ready With Me video, and the woman decided to take off her clothes down to her underwear like it's a normal thing for people to do. The acronym TLDR too long. Didn't read. What didn't they read most of the time? A short for paragraph story report news article. How is that too long to read? No one would have made it through school if you didn't read at least that much each day. Hugging men. Met their firm when I got older. Me and Dad had a great relationship. Both loved my stepdad and hugged them, and all these years later they think I'm gay BC I hugged them. FYI, I might be the only straight one amongst them these days. Sweatpants. Growing up, they were worn exclusive by the kid that ate earthworms between classes. Sweats were a sign that you weren't a serious person and were social suicide. Today, they're on all the broccoli-headed heartthrobs. Talking about poop. When I was a kid, all talk of potty-related things was considered the worst thing you could possibly say. Now, there are kids' toes pasted on pooping animals, poop emojis printed on kids' things, etc. I wouldn't say it's appropriate, however it seems more acceptable to rudely talk back to your parents, particularly your father. What my children seemed to think was acceptable would have nearly landed me in hospital. Apparently taking shirtless selfies in a locker room. I see young men posing and taking selfies all the time at the gym, even in front of their friends. Doing that back in my day would have been so cringe. Acting out in school. Disrespecting teachers. Just a million school-related things. I'm an elementary school teacher in my early 30s, and the way these kids act and treat their teachers is disgusting. Talking about health topics, especially women, finally, there is openness, or a little more openness, about periods, and it's not mystery blue fluid commercials. Postpartum life. Perimenopause. Menopause. The term queer was only ever a nasty insult. I don't recall it ever being used for self-identification. Now it's mainstream, but I still instinctively flinch against it when I hear someone use it. Using the internet on your phone. I freaked out when I clicked on the Facebook app back in 2011 thinking it would charge $100 just to use it on this old-ass keyboard flip phone. Until I got an iPhone. During my childhood, kids were advised away from sex and learning about sexuality. Nowadays, I see kids as young as 8 coming out as gay. Kids I've seen as young as 10 are all obsessed about sex. I remember my parents telling me not to talk to strangers on the internet. Definitely don't tell them your name or where you live. Now, everyone does it, not that they necessarily should. Letting your dogs poop on people's lawns. Even if you picked it up, it was considered rude. Now it seems like it's flipped. I'm a hole for not wanting dog poo residue killing my grass. 1999. Don't talk to strangers online. Don't get in anyone's car you don't know. 2024. Contact a stranger online and give them your home address so you can get in their car. Being gay. Calling someone schwul German for gay was a bad insult. Now you hear that word in the evening news. And frankly, I always cringe a little. Guess LAM or old law. Playing outside till the streetlights came on was the norm. Now, it's all about screen time. It's wild how tech has flipped the script on childhood. Children speaking up if something is wrong. Children were expected to not go against adults, and adults were given benefit of the doubt over children. Getting really into and good at a competitive video game. Waste of time when I was kid. Sponsored esport with decent streamer income now. Posting your identifying information online. When I grew up, it was inappropriate to be anything but completely anonymous online. Talking back to adults, even when the adult was wrong or inappropriate. You had to be respectful to all adults no matter what. Wearing shorts above the knee. Got beaten the fuck up for wearing shorts 1 finger length above my knee as a 12-year-old. Grinding. I mean, if I had rubbed my dick against a girl's butthole at a dance, I would have gotten slapped, then handcuffed. Bringing your dog everywhere, including to other people's houses. I don't know when someone decided that was normal. When I was kid, you'd get yelled at for sitting too close to the TV. Now, you can wear your TV strapped to your face, saying F you mommy. I hate broccoli. I want my hot dog with macaroni and cheese now. parent okay, precious, openly talking to not only other children, but also adults outside of the family about sexual behavior kinks. Online dating was ridiculed and people that did it were viewed as desperate losers. Now it's the way to go. Leggings as pants. Remember the constant arguments over it and the terror of wearing a mandatory tunic law. Talking to your kids openly about gay relationships and even the very existence of gay or trans people. Leaving food on your plate. That's just one of the many rules that made me overweight as an adult. Cussing at home. When I was growing up, it felt like no one I knew did it. Now it's a free-for-all. Being anything other than heterosexual and cisgender. Being disrespectful. Being fat. Swearing. Enter Phoebe. Sometimes men love women. Sometimes men love men. And then there are bisexuals. Wearing booty shorts, crop tops, and lots of makeup when a girl is in middle school or younger. Posting personal info on the internet, your city, age, workplace, favorite shops, cafes, etc. Older men leering at my 12-year-old self and asking if I had a boyfriend. Flipping creeps. Sexy clothing young people wear today. People think that one was a prostitute. Drinking caffeinated beverages. When I was a kid, children even rarely drank soda. Being LGBT. I remember asking my mum what homosexual meant and she got so offended. Having feelings. Getting emotional during an argument was took back in my day. Talking to strangers on the internet and getting in the car with strangers. Uber. Going out in public in pajamas, sweatpants, underwear. It just wasn't done.